Good morning. I'm Tony. Welcome to Market Day Report. So glad you've joined us this morning. We have Brian Hoops. He's not sitting right next to me, but he's pretty close, and we're going to break down some weekly export sales numbers in just a moment. First off, before we get there, how about the trade in the overnight session? Corn market has settled during the day sessions higher for the past 2 days, so we'll see whether or not corn can make it the hat trick. You know, the Stanley Cup finals, you can't say kicked off, but they dropped the puck on that, so I'll throw that hat trick in there for that. Old crop up 441 3/4. New crop December, penny and a quarter higher at 445. Also in the overnight action, soybeans lower, new crop down 1023 a bushel. That's a market that settled higher 2 consecutive sessions. Over to the wheat market, we'll start with Chicago. New crop 2.5 higher, 545 3/4 in the overnight. Hard red up a tick at 540 3/4. And as we run through the spring wheat December, down 3/4 of a penny, 652.5. Finally, cotton market 21 points higher, 67.98. Okay, let's break down that weekly export sales report. Brian Hoops is president, Midwest Market Solutions. Hey, Brian, good morning. And what do you have?
Hey, good morning. Stay up and watch that hockey game. We went overtime last night. It was pretty exciting, but I didn't stick around for the end. Hey, export sales out this morning. No private sales, first of all. In fact, we haven't had anything this week. Export sales for wheat. Now, we have rolled out of the old crop marketing years. It has come to an end, and looking solely at that new crop marketing year once again. So negative 1.8 million bushels old crop moved into new crop, and sales were 16.4. So those are pretty good numbers. In fact, new crop sales on the books at this time compared to the last 12 years, this is the highest we've been for this point in the marketing season. Corn sales were pretty decent as well. Now, old crop corn was 37.1 million bushels with 6.3 million bushels of new crop sales. Old crop commitments on the books have already exceeded the USDA's forecast, and we still have the June, July, and August supply and demand reports to go through. So likely the USDA raises exports in that old crop category at least 1, maybe 2 more times, as we have a long stretch here yet this summer of sales to make. Now, soybean sales pretty much just routine, right in the middle of expectations. Old crop at 7.1, new crop at just 0.13 million bushels. Nothing really exciting on the soybean front. Maybe one of the things that's really going to provide us some support this morning, it's been reported right after the grains closed at 7:45 that President Trump and Chinese President Xi have already had a phone call. And we saw a big pop in the stock market, energy markets as a result of that announcement or that newswire report. And it could be supportive to the grains as well. Anytime President Trump and Xi speak, market's going to anticipate we're getting closer to reaching some sort of a trade agreement, even though there is no news to support that. But that's what the market's anticipating or trying to trade on. And as I said, big pops in the energies and the stock market right after that announcement.
Well, you mentioned the energy markets. Let's go over to West Texas Intermediate crude, which settled lower yesterday. Actually, entire sector was in the red after, well, one day after being in positive territory. 63.69 on the July. It's up 84. And then as we just run through the rest of the energies here, gasoline futures moving higher. What about diesel? Diesel moving higher. And would you believe it? Nat gas moving higher as well. Brian, hang on. We'll take a break, come back, and we'll talk livestock futures next. Market Day Report continues in a moment. So we jump into the livestock markets. We'll look at hogs in just a moment, but our focus right now is live cattle and how we finished the session yesterday. June live cattle, 218.40, just a dime off the high, 242 higher on the session. And the August, 212.35 was 260 higher on that session yesterday. Feeders, again, we don't trade the livestock in the overnight session, so this is how we settled on Wednesday. August, 303.87, up 265, 303.15 on the September, up 272. October, 301. Look at November, getting close to that $300 range. Did not hit it yesterday, but we'll see what happens today. And then we go to the hogs. Hogs have been higher 4 consecutive sessions, not counting that June contract, or really even the July, though July hit 105.85 in the session, settling 105.02, up 45. It's the August contract we've been watching, 107.50, up $1.05, just 2 dimes off the day's high. Brian Hoops, Midwest Market Solutions. Wow, I'm really impressed by the hog market moving higher here.
Yeah, I think you have to be. We're hitting new highs in that August contract. It's not just the cattle market that's been stronger. Hogs have really taken advantage of higher cattle prices to start to move higher as well, trying to follow the lead of it. But demand has really been strong for pork at these cheaper price levels. So export sales this morning were pretty decent, over 36 million tons of pork sold. China was the #1 buyer, not scared of the tariffs. They're buying and consuming U.S. pork products. Mexico, #2 buyer. Beef sales were okay this morning, pretty much routine where they have been. China actually canceled a few purchases, but not a great amount. We did have cash cattle trade in the Southern Plains yesterday. Not a lot of cattle, but enough to report. In the South, we traded 225 up to 228, so $2 to $5 better on a live basis. Very strong cash markets. We're going to hear some dress trade that is going to be, I think, sharply higher once it's announced this afternoon, and maybe tomorrow some more trade. It's probably enough to push the cattle market to new weekly highs and negate that bearish reversal from a technical standpoint that we saw earlier this week. So cash markets still on fire, packer margins still in the red, but cutout values trying to keep up to a small extent with the higher cash trade and keep those losses from mounting for the Packers. But it's really strong cash markets here that's just driving those futures higher, both hogs and in the cattle.
Okay, Brian Hoops is president, Midwest Market Solutions. We'll see you back here tomorrow.